Like authorities, divine protections in ReZero are overpowered. They give their users various abilities, from Otto, who can communicate with all creatures, Liliana, who has telepathy, and the strongest, which is Reinhard, who has almost everything, from being able to come back to life to being the Sword Saint. His blessings from Adlagna knows no bounds. While Reinhard makes divine protections look OP and common, it's a known fact that just having one is rare, and it's said that no divine protection can beat an authority. So what are divine protections? How are they granted? What is Adlagna? And why can Reinhard get so many? Starting from the top with what are divine protections, there are the various abilities you've seen Reinhard, Liliana, Otto, and a bunch of others use. They are abilities people are granted at birth by Adlagna. Most people don't get one, and even more get useless abilities. Getting one is a 1 in 100, but to get one that is actually really useful is a 1 in 100,000. With Reinhard striking a 1 in 10 million for just having more than one. Just having one means that you're blessed, while having more than one means that you're seen as strange. But upon being born with one, you immediately know what it is without being told. But there are cases like Liliana's where the user doesn't know. Most divine protections can have multiple users, and each user can have different growth and can be stronger even though they have the same ability. But it's important to know that divine protections can cancel each other out if they have control over the same thing, and you can't hold a witch factor and a divine protection at the same time. The reason for this is because witch factors are incompatible with those who have divine protections, due to the authorities the factors give being a superior version of the protections. If you are to receive a factor while holding a divine protection, it just removes it. This is not the only way to lose one, because it can also be stripped away temporarily using a spell. Divine protections and authorities are similar, but they have a distinct difference. To know the difference, we have to go over what are factors or authorities in the first place. If you don't know what they are the various abilities you've seen the witches and archbishops use throughout the series. The witches are the ladies you saw at the tea party, who are all known as calamities due to what they did when they were alive. Then the archbishops are basically their successors who inherited the factors after they died. The various abilities they received range from seeing the future to being unkillable. While they do sound OP, not everyone can use them without losing their sanity or developing a split personality due to being incompatible. Though if you are to take in a factor and be compatible to wield one, they grant you the power to do pretty much anything you want, bending others or even the world to your will. An example is that it's said that Satella destroyed half of the world with her factor, even though she's said to be incompatible. The price of being incompatible, other than losing your sanity, is also that the user has to pay a price each time they want to use their factor. But various abilities users have gained are Echidna, who could see the past, present, or future, Satella being unkillable while controlling around 2,000 shadows, and Typhon being able to break people into pieces if they feel guilty. They all gain super overpowered abilities that break the balance in the world. While none of the others have done anything as drastic as Satella, it's said that none of the main witch factors are stronger than another, though their strengths and abilities can vary depending on the user, since the abilities you get are based on your nature or desire. A lot of their backstories help show why they gained the abilities they did, but an example of one is that Minerva hated that people were constantly fighting around her. She hated seeing people get hurt, so the constant fighting made her feel anger, causing her to go around punching people to heal them. It's important to say that their nature and desire truly determines what they get, which is why you see people with the same factor having different abilities. Hence the change in Sloth's form every time it's passed down. Vainglory and Melancholy are on the special side, but if you want to hear more about that or authorities in general, you can watch my video on it after this. But the main difference is that authorities are more effective than divine protections. We don't know where authorities came from or who their creator is, but they've been around a lot longer, and no divine protection can overpower an authority. This is probably because, unlike authorities, who have been recognized by Adlagna as having the ability to rewrite the world, the protections it created have to follow the rules of the world. They were made as a counter and didn't always exist as Echidna said. This restriction makes it so they can't bridge the gap. I don't know why authorities are outliers, who aren't bound by the world, as we've seen with Satella using hers on Subaru when he was in Japan. The only thing that would make sense is that they didn't originate from this world. Now, I've mentioned Atlagna a few times, but what exactly is it? Atlagna is known to be a reserve of mana that is considered to be the heart of the world. Usually you can't see it, but some have with the use of forbidden magic. This caused them to lose their minds, but they did relay that it was a huge mass of mana, unlike anything they've ever seen before. It's where all mana eventually returns to, and has the ability to create things like spirits. It seems to exist to keep the world from breaking and has no will of its own, making it so it isn't supposed to be hostile or even show favoritism, though that doesn't seem to be the case with Reinhard. It is the opposite of witch factors, though it recognizes any who have them as having the right to change the world. Other than creating divine protections, it bears the authority to erase forbidden arts, capable of destroying the world's balance. Now, for why Reinhard is blessed with so many divine protections is due to Atlagna. Even though it shouldn't show favoritism, anything Reinhard needs at the moment is granted to him immediately. He was given the ability to request any divine protection he wants, whether it exists or not. I'm thinking either Atlagna or the world itself favors him to the point in which it won't allow him to die. It's probably due to the fact that it needs someone who can be the balance against the witches, archbishops, and other evil in the world, since due to how strong they are, it's basically impossible to stop them. And even though it made divine protections as a counter, they aren't normally strong enough to match an authority. It would also make sense since we know Atlagna balances the world, so it needed to give Reinhard so many so he could go toe to toe with them. Getting back to him being able to create abilities, we saw this happen not only when he requested the ability to see Liliana's divine protection, but also in the past when he requested his grandmother's divine protection of the Sword Saint. The reason she lost it completely is because certain ones can only have one user, so if someone already possesses it and he requests it, it will completely strip them of it. That's why he knew he technically did cause his grandmother's death by requesting her divine protection. Now that we know about divine protections and how they differ from authorities, as for what are the various divine protections and their users, starting from the top of the list we have Krush, who has wind reading, which allows her to tell if a person is lying. And she also has the divine protection of durability, which makes the armor more durable as long as the user has mana. Earth Dragons and Reinhard both have wind evasion, which gives them resistance to wind when moving at high speeds. This applies to passengers as well. Otto has the protection of soul language, which gives him the ability to talk to all sorts of living creatures. This protection is actually dangerous to its user because it causes them to go crazy due to the noise and makes them bleed out of their nose. Theresia has the divine protections of the Death God, which would cause unhealable wounds, and the Sword Saint, which is now owned by Reinhard. It grants the user inhuman intuition and insight while also granting them insane swordsmanship and combat knowledge. Garfield has the divine protection of the Earth Spirits, which gives him control over Earth, such as being able to manipulate it for defense. It can also accelerate the recovery of stamina and wounds. Melee has a rare divine protection that can only have one user at a time, which is the divine protection of demon manipulation. It allows the user to control witch beasts, though she has no control over super powerful ones such as the White Whale. Liliana has telepathy, which pairs well with her singing. It's the reason she could get rid of Sirius's mind control. Ferris has the divine protection of water, which buffs her proficiency in water magic. Julius has gathering spirits, which enables him to see, talk, and be liked by spirits. Mimi and her siblings have the divine protection of trisection, which allows them to bear each other's physical or emotional burdens or split damage between them to block anything that will one-shot them. Priscilla has the protection of the sun, which makes her stronger during the day. Russell Fellow and Alec Hoshin hold the protection of evaluation, which enables them to determine the quality of an item with perfect accuracy. Camberly is skilled in bed for some reason. Then we have the divine protection of Farsight, which allows the user to see the precise location of a target. Reinhard previously had the protection of mind changing, which can change the mind of their target, though he deleted it due to how dangerous it was. Grassus and Flam Remedies have the protection of mind speak, which allows them to speak to each other telepathically. There's the divine protection of earth attributes, which can be imbued into walls to fortify them. The divine protection of ambushing, which is owned by all half-wolf humans. This allows them to conceal their presence, to disappear even in front of your face, giving them ultimate stealth. There's the protection of morale, which increases the physical abilities of the user based on how excited or motivated they are. Compulsion, which exerts a compulsory force onto other people with its user's words. Object seeing memory, which allows the user to see the memories of objects. Felt has a divine protection related to wind, which is why she can move so fast in the blink of an eye. Then the rest of the ones I'm going to go over are just Reinhard's divine protections. We're not going to go over all of them because he has around 251, but I'll go over the most important. He has Phoenix, which allows him to come back to life once, as we saw when he was killed by Regulus. Then he has the next version of this ability, which basically just cheats and gives him infinite uses of Phoenix. Probably a modification by Outlagna, as I mentioned before that it won't let him die. Judgment, which allows him to see other people's divine protections. He has divine protections, which makes him immune to things like magic buffs, debuffs, cursed arts, miasma, and every element. Arrow evasion, which he used against Elsa's blade. Arrow striking, which is aimbot for ranged attacks. He has protections that make him stronger under every type of sky. He has initiative, which allows his first attack on an opponent to always land, and he's immune to surprise attacks. Next we have the divine protection of first sight, which instinctively teaches him how to counter or dodge attacks that he's experiencing for the first time. Second coming, which allows him to respond with vastly greater speed to attacks he's experiencing twice or more. It's a great combo for the ability I said before this. He's resistant to all sicknesses, diseases, drugs, poisons, and alcohol. Can tell when someone is up to no good. Air dashing. Weapon god, which allows him to use any weapon masterfully. He's pretty much resistant to or a master in pretty much everything from making different types of food to walking on water or clouds. I'll show everything he has on the screen, but one of the last cool things is that he has the divine protection of insensitivity, which makes so his body can't be interfered by any outside influences, which I'm guessing is why Sirius's ability had no effect. If you enjoyed and want to see more ReZero content, like and subscribe.